Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about the situation or the violent situation that black people have to face in Tunisia after the speech of President Kais Saied. So in this video, I'm going to comment some parts of his speech. Well, in a video made in French, which title is Tunisie face au racisme, les migrants choisissent de rentrer. Tunisia in front of racism, migrants choose to go back home. I discovered that His Excellency Kais Saied has qualified black Africans in Tunisia, the sub-Saharans, to be a horde of clandestine migrants, source of crime. Well, after saying that, some Tunisians attack the black to violate them. Some black people have been beaten by some Tunisians, raped by some Tunisians, stolen by some Tunisians, thrown out of their home by the home they were renting by some Tunisians, thrown out of their work by some Tunisians. There have been at least one dead, killed by some Tunisian. Well, in front of all this, I ask myself if there's no border police in Tunisia. If those people, those migrants, were really criminals, why didn't or couldn't the border police work in order to send them back before they even enter the country? Is there no interior police within the land of Tunisia? If these people were criminals, why didn't those police investigate in order to find them, catch them, and put them in prison? Well, I thought that after seeing all what President Kais Saied said, I thought that they were going to show us migrants that are criminals. But those or the people I've seen in the videos or on televisions were good people, students, and hardworking people, people who wanted to live. These were the kind of people that were going back home to Ivory Coast, Mali, um, Guinea, and other places. When Kais Saied realized that the majority of his people did not follow him but reprimanded him, he said that we must watch over our sub Saharans brothers that are in legal situation, but there is no point leaving anyone in illegal situation to stay in Tunisia. We are, we are a state and we have institutions. Well, the question I'm asking myself is President Kais Saied the president of a part of the citizens of his country or the people or the inhabitants of his country? I think that a president of a country must be the president of everybody, the citizen, the non-citizen, those who have papers that are called legal, and those who have no papers that are called illegal. And unfortunately, in this situation, I could observe that those who are called illegal were people to whom they were creating difficulties to have the papers. Anyway, they were looked down because they are black, and they were calling them a horde of criminals. So, in fact, the president of Tunisia did not fully do what a president have to do towards the inhabitants of his country. Um, in a third, in the third point, I'm going to talk about something that President Kais Saied said. He said that there's a criminal deal prepared since the beginning of the century to change the composition of the demography of Tunisia in order to make it an African country only and to stop its Arabo Muslim aspect. Let's say it like that, as I'm the one translating. Well, I'm asking myself, are black Muslims, black Tunisians included, part of the Arabo Muslim? They read the Quran in Arabs, they pray in Arab, they speak in Arab. Anyway, I don't want to answer this question for them, nor for Kais Saied. I want him and those who think like him to answer this question. Talking about the deal or the plot, what deal or what plot is President Kais Saied talking about? I read books, I listened to people, but I've never seen such a thing anywhere. Could somebody tell us what is that plot and what is that deal? In fact, where is Tunisia situated? Tunisia is situated on a continent that is Africa. So, being in Africa, Tunisia is part of Africa. It cannot be something that they're going to call Arabia. It is not even linked to it. It is not in Asia. Tunisia is in Africa. Now, let's talk about the plot or the deal. We're going to make a little bit of history. Uh, I'm going to do it through some questions. Has Tunisia always been an Arabo Muslim country? Yes, they speak English, Arabia, Arabic today, and they pray as Muslim because Islam has become the majority of them. Has become the religion of the majority of them. Was it like that from the beginning when Tunisia was Tunisia at the very beginning? Has Arab been the first language to be spoken in Tunisia? Well, as we know, Islam has happened into the 7th century, and it is after the 7th century that it has appeared in Tunisia, in Northern Africa in general, and we can say that Arab has not always been the language in Tunisia. The first people to live, to be the inhabitants of Tunisia were Africans, black Africans, and they were speaking languages that were not Arabic. Then, after the Africans, we talk today about of the Berbers. The Berbers, among which you find a number of Africans, and well, today in the evolution mixed with the Asians, and that have given the kind of people you see. Then, uh, if we talk about religion, has Islam been the first religion to be practiced in Tunisia? I will say no, as the first one when the Africans were not Muslim, they could not be at that time as Islam did not exist. So you find some people that were animists, as we can say, with the African religion, some that were worship gods the way the Jews do, in Judaism, and later Christians. Those people were there before the Arabs came with Islam in Tunisia. Uh, you know a little bit the history of Mauritania. In Mauritania, you have the black and you have those who are the white, we can say. So, the black were the first inhabitants of these places, and they were there before the Arabs came. And unfortunately, when the Arabs came, they found ways to enslave them. And you know that when the Islam was born and came in the 7th century, it was not in peace that they came into the countries that we find them in today. It was with war and violence. Well, people were forced to submit to Allah, especially black people and black men, especially, had suffered a lot. They have been killed because they were not wanted in their own lands where the Arabs have come with their religion. They were killed, and some of those who could survive and were going to be used as labor would be castrated. Many of them would die because of this castration. And unfortunately, this situation has been too difficult for many of the black to support. You see, if you look through history, before Islam, there was an empire, the country Ghana today, that has taken its name from the Empire of Ghana. That was, if like, protecting Africa in the north from the Western that would have liked to enter the land. In the first century, they were already in Asia and in Jerusalem and in many of these countries. So fighting them has taken long from, if like, the second, third century until to the seventh century when Islam came in. So those black people that were living there, the soldiers of the Ghana Empire, were really tied. And unfortunately, uh, many of the people that were living in those places have to run. And you find them today somewhere in the West Africa or in the sub-Saharan areas of the northern part of Africa. So, if you understand me well, you understand that the plot that we could have talked about is the plot from the Arabo Muslim that entered Africa, that killed the black men, and unfortunately, that have taken the land and that have made a shift in the religions that people were practicing there, and a forced, well, a shift made by forced, because it was in a certain way, the way they were doing it's their manner. Well, what about the women that were living there, the black women? Oh, you know that black women are beautiful. They could not live them. Some of them have escaped, but taken many, and made them their sexual objects. Many of them they have put in harems and have used as concubine, prostitutes, or many other things that you can name. Uh, when the children, sometimes, yes, the children that were born from these women were naturally half caste. So they have given birth to the half caste that you see today. And when those children have been giving birth to children, they continue to give the same kind of color that you have today in Tunisia, in Morocco, in Algeria, and somehow in all this part of North Africa. Well, so this is just to say that if people like Kais Saied do not like black people. I'm telling them that the women that have given birth to the ancestors have blood, black blood in their body. And it is that blood, the African blood, the black, the blood of the black people, the red blood of the black people, that is flowing into the bodies, into the veins of those people that are living in Tunisia and in many places of this country, that is Tunisia. Uh, I can even say that the first inhabitant on this earth are black people, and the blood that is flowing inside the body of every people here on earth today is the blood of the African people. So you cannot say that you are not African, and you cannot say that the country you are in is located on the African continent, the continent that they call Africa. So Tunisia is an African continent. Well, it seems to me that in front of this racism, we need to find some remedy. That's why I'm calling upon black presidents of every country to protest what this president and the people that followed him have done. I'm calling upon the president of Africa and especially Black Africa to protest. I'm calling upon the president of the sub-Saharan Africa, especially them, to protest. I'm calling upon the regional organization of sub-Saharan Africa, like ECOWAS, to protest. African Union should do something. It is not going to stop on just saying two or small words and say that we do not agree with this. No, you need to show them seriously, to show Kais Saied seriously that you do not agree with what he is saying about the black people that you have seen. We've seen that those who came out of Tunisia were not criminals. They were students, they were people that went there and that were working there. Well, uh, just to say that the question of equality among human beings, sorry, should be a question that black Africans and their president should take seriously. The question of the respect of the people with black skin color should be taken seriously in the law and in the behavior. That's why I'm saying that authorities in the countries where there are black people should protest against the president of Tunisia and should protest so that even the black that are living in Tunisia, whose ancestors were first there, who were even the first owners of the place, be respected, fully respected as human beings. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please do. I'm inviting you to do so. Um, put some likes somewhere under the video after watching it. Put some comments. I would like to read them. I would like to know what you think about what I'm doing. Thank you and have a blessed day.